Hi everybody and welcome to day 5 of ICAD 2020. For this one I am starting with some Crafters Workshop Light and Fluffy modeling paste, and I'm going to use a Crafters Workshop stencil as well by Balzer Designs called Mini Crossed. I know I say this often, but this is one of my favorite stencils. I have a lot of favorites. Ask my husband. So now, when I use modeling paste with a stencil, I make sure to clean the stencil right away because you don't want that stuff drying. Not on your stencil. Paint, no, as you can tell, I don't clean that off. But modeling paste, I do. Because if it gets thick and bumpy in some areas, your stencil is not going to lay nice and flat on your paper for future use. So on this one I am taking the Neocolors again, and I'm just going to scribble it on. Now the modeling paste is dry. This has dried for hours, or this may even be the next day. So I'm just scribbling my Neocolor crayon on top of the modeling paste and paper. As you can see, I'm not being picky about how it goes on. The Neocolor crayons are beautiful, and I don't think to use them very often. I don't know why. I have supplies like that they're out of sight, so they're out of mind, and I just don't think about them. So I'm also going to use some Jane Davenport watercolor paints. I do love this set of colors. They are bright and beautiful, very vibrant. So I'm just wetting my paint and my paper, so when I apply some watercolor on the paper, it's nice and wet and flowing. When I work with watercolor, unless I'm doing like an actual picture, then I don't like to have control of the watercolor. I like for everything to be really wet so the color will just flow. Unless I'm using colors that will create mud, then I don't like it. But that's when you just choose to be careful about your colors. And a nice thing about watercolor too is if you have some colors and they mix and you're not quite liking it, and if it's still wet, just grab your paper towel and dab it. And if it is dry, then take a wet paintbrush and lightly go over that area. And usually you can get it to fade out or go away. You can see my fingers were dirty, so I got a dark spot on the top and I was able to just wipe it away. And then that spot looks muddy, so I'm adding water. I'm gonna dab it, and then I'll go over it with some more color. I love the combination of modeling paste and watercolor too, because the paint will just get down into the cracks and it's just beautiful. And this card was fairly simple. Because once again, I like the background and I didn't want to cover it up. See the problem I have? So I'm taking this little stamp set, and I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure it's a Prima. The name of it, I have no idea. It's like I said, I'm not even sure if it's Prima. So I had this idea to get a little bit of watercolor on my craft mat and then use it for stamping. But if you have too much on your stamp, then you get that, which I don't mind the marks. But if you want to be able to see what the actual stamp is, then you want very little on your stamp. So it's almost better if you get the paint on your stamp and then stamp off like 2 or 3 times and then do your good one, like that. But I mean, remember, it's watercolor, so it's gonna bleed. So now, because I can't leave it just plain, I have to do more to it. I'm adding some rub-ons that are so old, but they still work. And I just, I had no idea what to put there, so I just put, I said rough. Why not, right? And then the cute dog. I love bulldogs. That one is from Mischief Circus. And then I took a number 5 also from Mischief Circus. Most likely it's Crowbit Studio, but I can't be certain. And I take one of those tickets again and I rip it up in a couple pieces and put it below the dog just so it looks like he's somewhat sitting on something and not just floating there on the card. So I just glue down these pieces and I go around the edge of the card with some black ink, and that is it. A pretty simple day number 5. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.